I've been a Mario fan since I was 8 years old, and since then I've played so many Mario games and I've enjoyed all of them. Some more than others, but I've generally enjoyed all of them. And the only one I have to say I'm not that big a fan of at the moment is Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. While I haven't finished it, I can say that from what I've played, it hasn't really kept me interested and it feels a bit too slow for me at the moment. But aside from that, I've created memories I would cherish forever with some of these games I've played. And honestly, while mostly every Mario game gets praised solidly for the most part, there are still some that I feel don't get enough attention or get way too much unnecessary hate. In this video, I'm going to be talking about those games and the things that they do that make them great games in my eyes. Or at least greater games than fans will give them credit for anyway. Alright, so let's start with Super Mario 3D Land, the first Mario game on 3DS, and the first 3D Mario game that played like a 2D one. Super Mario 3D Land was one of the first 3DS games I ever owned, along with Pilot Wings Resort and Rayman 3D. One of which I never finished. Anyway, when I started playing Super Mario 3D Land, I had just finished Galaxy 2 a few months prior and I was ready to have some more Mario action. As I was playing, I noticed that while the levels may not have felt as open as the Galaxy levels did, there were still some levels that I enjoyed and thought were really well implemented. Anyone remember that one level made of nothing but Mario sprites and you had to use the propeller block to jump from sprite to sprite? Or how about that one level in World 2 that played like a Zelda level? Those two levels were my favorite levels in the entire game. The game's music ain't that bad either. While it isn't the best Mario soundtrack out there, a fair amount of the tunes are still pretty memorable. And the final battle with Bowser when you're climbing a crumbling tower while trying to get to the switch drop him in the lava is one of my favorite Mario final bosses ever. The presentation for this game was also phenomenal as well. For a 3DS game, I'm still amazed at how well the colors and the character models pop out. It's honestly on par with the GameCube in my opinion. Sure, Super Mario 3D Land isn't Super Mario 64 or Super Mario Odyssey, but you know what? It's still in my top 10 favorite Mario games of all time, which is with a good OST and even good sense of accomplishment. Seriously, getting the top of all the flagpoles as both Mario and Luigi and being Special 8's crown level is easily one of the best feelings I've had as long as I've been a gamer. And it's also the very first Mario game I 100%ed. Anyway, let's go to the next Mario game, shall we? Super Mario 3D World. The sequel to Super Mario 3D Land and the first and only 3D Mario game on the crapfest that was the Wii U. So because Super Mario 3D World is a successor to 3D Land, it's only natural that I would build upon the 3D game that plays like a 2D game formula. They did this by adding minor tweaks to the gameplay like adding the spin move from Sunshine and also letting you transition into a faster run by holding down the run button. 3D World definitely has way more to offer than 3D Land when it comes to content, such as the fact that they made Rosalina from the Super Mario Galaxy series playable, added a bunch of brand new stages with a bunch of brand new elements, and even made some of the levels more open and big. Not Super Mario 64 big, but big enough. The new cap power-up is also pretty cool as well. Gives you the ability to run up walls and gives you this cool lunge ability that's just like the dive move from 64 and Sunshine. And I would love for Nintendo to implement it into a more traditional 3D Mario game. Speaking of power-ups, this game has one of my favorite power-ups in the Mario series, the Double Cherry. It's just so fun and chaotic to use, and it gets even better when you throw one of your clones off the edge of a stage. And not just that, but when you get a power-up like a Fire Flower, it can get pretty chaotic, let me just say that. Hopefully it'll come back in a future 3D Mario game. Mario Odyssey 2. The OST for this game is even better than 3D Land, with there being more orchestra and just overall music variety. I even love the Gusty Garden Galaxy remix they did for some of the levels in the Special Worlds. Like 3D Land, Super Mario 3D World's final boss is also very epic. It's so cool having to climb the gigantic Bowser skyscraper that stretches far into the clouds, all while avoiding enemies and Bowser duplicates. And the part at the end where you need to hit the power block to knock Bowser up into the sky is a cherry on top of this tremendously good boss fight. Alright, I saved the best for last. The last Mario game that I think is severely underrated in my opinion, and is the most underrated Mario game in the series, at least from what I've played anyway, is New Super Mario Bros.U. Now, it's no surprise I think the New Super Mario Bros. Series as a whole is underrated. Heck, I made a whole video on it about a year ago. But I think out of all of them, New Super Mario Bros.U seems to get the most flack. And to be honest with you, it's my favorite New Super Mario Bros. Game in the entire series. In the New Super Mario Bros. Series anyway. Not only does it have the best looking graphics and music out of the 4 games, but it's also the most original out of the 4. While it does still have the same basic rescue Peach from Bowser because she's a helpless damsel and does nothing plots, the game actually changes up a bit by having Bowser take over Peach's castle and holding her captive in her own kingdom instead. The worlds, while formulaic, also have things that make them different than their previous incarnations. Acorn Plains is a world filled with flying squirrel enemies with a giant acorn tree in the background, as well as introduces this game's new power-up, the Super Acorn, which lets Mario transform into Flying Squirrel Mario, which lets him climb and glide walls. Layer Cake Desert is a world filled with cake-like hills and melted ice cream cones. Sparkling Water is a beach world with water geysers. Frosted Glacier is a winter world at nighttime. Soda Jungle is a jungle filled with giant enemies and even a haunted forest. Rock Candy Mines is a mountain world filled with rock candy shaped mountains. Marine Clouds is, well, still a pretty basic cloud world, but the colored clouds and the layer levels further emphasize the amazing lighting this game has. Peach's castle, while not that much different looking than Bowser's kingdom, still shows its intimidation factor by having that dark red spiral surrounding the roof of the castle. While I will admit the levels in this game aren't exactly memorable, they do offer a good challenge, I will say that. Especially in the later worlds. And when you get to Superstar Road, let's just say there's only a 99% chance they'll throw your weird at the wall out of rage. The bosses are all basically pushovers unfortunately and can be easily beaten after just 3 jumps on the head most of the time, although I will admit I do love how overdramatic Bowser is after you beat him. It's amusing. Well, those are the 3 Mario games I personally think are very underrated. Definitely give them a shot if you haven't played them yet. They may not be a Super Mario Odyssey or even a Super Mario 64, but they're still up there in my opinion when it comes to gameplay and deserve way more attention and positivity. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Follow my social media, primarily my Twitter for video updates and also memes. And thank you guys for watching. See ya.